Kaylee Cuoco and Sam Claflin star in the MGM Plus original series, Vanished. When the man Alice loves disappears on a train to the south of France, every romantic memory becomes evidence. Every intimate detail, a potential threat. She thought she knew everything about him, but she may not even know his real name. New episode Sunday on MGM Plus. Finding the truth is a dangerous affair.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi! Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So, just coming back to this business about closing down or defunding ICE. Right, not sanctuary cities, which is what the Republicans want to get rid of. But Chuck Schumer and the Democrats want to get rid of ICE. So they have shut down the final funding for DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, which means no money for TSA in the airports, no money for Coast Guard, no money for Secret Service, no money for FEMA. I mean, we've had such terrible weather. So it just sounds pretty stupid. I don't know what the ins and outs are, but we're welcome to the show Theo Wold, who's a former assistant attorney general in Mr. Trump's first term and a domestic policy advisor. Theo, what happens here? I mean, so that we have a shutdown. I'm not sure people paid much attention to it. And I don't want to sacrifice ICE, right? I don't want the Republicans to go wobbly here, and they're not going to. I mean, I spoke to Mr. Trump in an interview about this, and if anything, the Lindsey Graham idea of defunding the sanctuary cities is more important, and that's the goal. But what happens to the rest of Homeland Security? You got the TSA in the airports, right? The Coast Guard, Secret Service, FEMA. We've had all these cold weather storms. What happens to all this stuff?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Larry. I think you're exactly right. I think the genius of this administration was to ensure that there was adequate funding for immigration enforcement authorities in the one big beautiful bill.
Right.
So Democrats are fully aware that ICE and CBP will be able to continue to do their mission-specific operations. They are literally willing to shut off the funding pipeline to FEMA, to TSA, to the Coast Guard, to Secret Service in order to achieve the optics for their increasingly radical base that they are somehow stopping ICE. And, Larry, I think for years we were told by Democrats that there was no need for new immigration laws. There's no new need for, an expansive immigration apparatus. Just enforce the laws on the books with the equities that already exist. And so for the first time, really, in ICE's 25-year history, this administration got full funding for the agency and are doing a surge in personnel hiring. They're opening up new offices throughout the country. And the response from Democrats has been abolish ICE and shut down the department. And I think most Americans, as you note, are not inclined to support that. Overwhelming majorities of Americans say keep doing the mission that President Trump outlined on the campaign.
But they're starving. So in order to get this optical goal, I mean, it isn't a real goal, as you say. The Democrats can oppose ICE all they want, and they do. And they're for open borders. I mean, let's get serious. I don't care. I mean, I have a list of the 10 demands. Every demand curbs ICE, and every demand leads back to open borders. So that's, 15 million illegals. I mean, that's the problem, the Biden problem. Chuck Schumer went along with it. I'm sorry. Those are the facts of life. But, you do have these important other agencies, like TSA, all right. I was never a big fan of TSA, but it is what it is in the airport. Now, Coast Guard is very important. FEMA is very important. I mean, look at the ice storms and winter storms we've had. Secret Service is very important. I mean, assassination attempts on President Trump and so forth. I mean, this will go on for quite some time, right? There's no end to it because the Republicans are not going to push back. They're not going to fight ICE. They're going to defend ICE, I hope, unless they go wobbly, which would be a disaster.
It would be a disaster, but you're right, Larry. There's no indication that Senate Republicans in particular are looking to go wobbly on ICE or the larger picture here. And it's to their credit because they actually did come to Democrats to negotiate, and the Democrats' response was essentially go climb a rock. And one other thing to note there, Larry, is just, we've seen that as we've done these operations in these lawless jurisdictions like Los Angeles and Minneapolis, it's not really just a question of immigration, but increasingly what we're uncovering in these jurisdictions are these massive rings of fraud and malfeasance. And so even if some of your listeners may be, on the fence about the immigration question, nobody should be on the fence about what this massive import of millions and millions of illegal alien families under President Biden has done to the U.S. taxpayer, because the fraud in places like Minneapolis is directly linked to the fact that they are a sanctuary jurisdiction, and there is generally a cooperative underground ring where illegal aliens and foreign nationals are working with NGOs to deprive the American taxpayer of their own money.
Or, you know what? You're right about the fraud. I mean, you're 100% right. Lord knows the number could be 9 billion in Minneapolis. It could be 20 billion. You're absolutely right. And you're going to multiply that times these other big blue cities. They're sanctuary cities. But even in New York, for example, we had former Mayor Eric Adams. Now, he tried to unwind sanctuary city status. He had a hard time doing it. But he had to pay for all these illegals. I mean, above board, he had to pay for them. Yep. Housing, hotels, food, welfare. And I don't know what the final number was, but I know it was estimated at $12 to $15 billion about midway in Adams's, term as mayor. So that's what you're talking about. Multiply that times whatever, 10 blue states or 12 blue states, and you can go bankrupt on that alone. That's that's part of the insanity of this whole thing. But it's not going to get fixed, Theo. Right? The two sides are going to fight it out, and we're going to have to vote on it in November. I think that's what it boils down to. I'm happy to do it that way. Let's vote on it.
I agree, Larry. This ends an electoral decision, and thankfully, so far, the American people see the Democrats' play for what it is, which is what you said a moment ago. It is a policy that endorses, that is built upon open borders. Yep. And just one quick statistic that'll put what you just said in perspective on New York alone, Larry, for your listeners. So you see all these top line numbers about free healthcare, housing, all of this. Boil it down. The average illegal alien in New York under the Biden administration got 10x the benefits that we extend to our veterans who fought in the Iraq or Afghanistan wars.
Right. Wow. And then I got a socialist mayor who won't take homeless people in. So they're dying in the snow. And meanwhile, we're fighting it out over FEMA. Anyway, it's crazy. Theo Wold, appreciate it very much, former Assistant Attorney General. Folks, we take a quick break, and we bring in Ambassador Robert O'Brien, former National Security Advisor. What is going to happen with Iran? Is there regime change coming or not? I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back.